Welcome everybody, my name is Devante and you're tuned into Extreme Strength and Fitness. Today we are going to be explaining the best exercise selection for your style of skateboarding, broken down by the three categories of skateboarding that we kind of look at here through Extreme Strength and Fitness. Make sure you stay tuned so all you out there shredding can stay healthy, getting those clips, getting those tricks, and having a good ass time. The top three categories of skateboarding? What the hell is that, Devante? What are you talking about? Let me break it down a little bit further. Transition skateboarding. So anything from bowl skating, mini ramp, vert, all those things kind of encompass into transition skateboarding. Street/park skating. Now, this is going to be, jumping down rails, going down stairs, even going up a Euro at a park, skating the ramps at parks and stuff. That's going to kind of encompass into category number 2. And last but not least, category number 3. Now this is going to be reserved for our cruisers, right? So anybody who likes to longboard, get out there and just push the concrete, feel those cracks underneath their wheels and underneath their board. That's going to be category number 3. One thing I really want to preface before we even jump into the best exercise selection for your style of skating, no matter if you're a transition skater, a street/park skater, or you're just a simple cruiser, a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty similar across the board. So let's first jump into how all these are pretty dang similar. The movements that really should stay consistent here, right? First thing is going to be unilateral movements. Now make sure you check the card up top for the video explaining that. Next thing you want to make sure you're doing is bilateral movements. So that's going to be anything with both legs, like a squat or a push-up, both arms. Make sure you check the video up in the tag here. Another great thing that we want to make sure we're doing no matter what your style of skateboarding is working on isometrics. The reason why I love isometrics is it not only gives you a chance to kind of find your end range of an exercise and work with that end range, it also helps you to build resiliency. When I think of skateboarding, it's all about building resiliency. Whether you are a park skater, a street skater, a bowl skater, whatever your fancy might be, I'm sure your legs have gotten gassed out and have not felt too resilient. So that's a big thing there with isometrics. Definitely throw those in. The last two things that are pretty similar here is going to be rotation and anti-rotation movements. So rotation, of course, we're rotating a lot in street and park skating and in bowl skating. So you want to make sure that you're training that so you can just be a little bit more snappy. But even anti-rotation can help you in that aspect. So make sure you're doing both. Don't just neglect one or the other. Hey, real quick honorable mention to some movements here that I think everybody should be doing, especially for these categories of skateboarding, would simply be carries. So whether that's a farmer walk where you're carrying weights in both hands, or you're doing a suitcase carry where you're carrying it in one hand, or an overhead carry. Whatever the case may be, carries are great for just thinking of functional muscles, the way muscles function as we walk and as we breathe. So if you can train that a little bit better, trust me, things will start to look up. Now, I know you're probably like, well, Devante, where's the cardio stuff at? Well, this is where we kind of get a little bit different and you can start to change things up a little bit for your style of skating. So let's hop into it. First, let's get into transition skating cardio. Now here you might want to really focus on endurance style cardio, mainly because when you're training skating transition, you're usually doing longer runs, going around in circles or going back and forth on that vert ramp. So make sure you're really focusing on endurance style cardio while still throwing in some maybe higher intensity cardio once or twice a week to just give yourself that more explosive side of things. This can be things like a super easy or intermediate pace walk or bike. I wouldn't really recommend running for most people, and I would check the video here to see why. Now let's hop into street/park skating cardio. Now here is a great place for you to really be focusing on tempo style cardio. Now this is going to be where you're hopping on a bike or a rower, very intermediate or even easy pace for 1 minute, and then hopping off that, maybe giving yourself about 10 to 15 seconds, and then hopping into a low level calisthenics movement. So a push up, a bench dip, even dead bugs, something of that sort is going to be great. You do that for about 10-minute intervals. Another thing you can be focusing on is sprinting or the equivalent. Now, like I said before, I wouldn't suggest running. If you missed it, make sure you check the tag here to see why. Sprinting or equivalent, what does that mean? It means you could hop on a bike and even do a hard outburst of biking really, really hard and then giving yourself a rest. Now, the reason why I suggest this is because think about it. When running at spots, you want to be as fast as you can be sometimes, especially when you're running at a spot that has little run-up space, and you gotta make a big gap. This is gonna be a great place to make sure you're working on these things to improve at that skill. And now another thing I wanna mention, and goes into every category of skateboarding, and really anybody, is list style cardio. So low intensity, steady state. The reason why I suggest this is on a daily basis for everybody for up to an hour. It's just as easy as walking. All you gotta do is get out there, walk, have a good time. You can do it with your family, you can do it with your dog, anything like that's just gonna be good for the heart. Thinking of the heart health and longevity, pretty sure you don't want your ticker to be the thing stopping you from getting those tricks. So make sure you keep that ticker ticking so you can get those tricks a-tricking. Really quick, I want you all to go down to the comment section, and if you do skateboard, I want you to make sure that you let us know what is your favorite style of skateboarding to watch. Not only watch, but what is your favorite style to actually skate? Let us know those two things, and if you don't skate, let us know what your favorite style of skating to watch is, or let us know if this is your really first time even looking at skating in this light. Last but not least on our list, we have the cruising style skating cardio. Now, this is gonna be, I look at this more as like a long distance type of athlete, right? Because when you're cruising, you might be out there for 10, 15, 20, 25 miles sometimes, just cruising, having a good time. With that being said, let's look at how we can focus on our cardio. One of the biggest things I think that you can be doing if you're a cruiser to get better at skating cardio is simply just getting out there and skating more. So even looking at your cardio as your workout as a skate session and picking a distance or a time to go for and trying to up each one. So if you're going for distance, then trying to pick a distance like 5 miles and then going up in time, or even 10 miles, going up in time each time you do it, or giving yourself a set amount of time like 20 to 30 minutes and then trying to go farther in the distance each time. That's a great way. You're talking about specificity here, so there's really no better way for you to increase your cardio, and you can even look at that for all the other 2 categories of skateboarding. Now, another thing you can do is like long bike rides, something that's kind of intermediate to hardish pace. Just going on that long distance bike ride, really focusing on keeping the gears the same. The ground really determines on how hard it is to push and if you're going uphill or downhill. So if you're on a bike, just make sure you keep that gear kind of at that top set. So even if you're going uphill, it's just as hard, it's harder, and it's not getting too easy on you. That's gonna help you kind of just get that endurance style training in there like we were talking about earlier. Now, I'm not saying you can't sprint, I'm not saying you shouldn't sprint, but what I am saying is just make sure you check this video, like I've said 2 other times already, why most of us shouldn't just start sprinting off the rip. Now it's time to just round up all this information, because I'm sure you're a little confused, even if you're trying to think of what your style of skating is while you're watching this. So here we go. No matter if you're a tranny skater, a park skater, or a human who just loves to feel the concrete tearing underneath their board, there are quite a few things that these categories of skateboarding have in common. That's going to be unilateral movements, bilateral movements, isometrics, rotation, and anti-rotation. Another big thing to note here from this is just all of us can really benefit from daily cardio just for heart health and longevity. So whether you want to do that low intensity steady state and just go for an hour walk a day, that's plenty. Get out there and get on those walks, people. That was the best exercise selection for your style of skateboarding. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, my name is Devante. You can find everything you need in the description below. And from Xtreme Strength Fitness to you all, just know everyone is capable of being extreme.